Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the newest edition of Out on the Trail.
Howdy.
Today I'm out on the trail, or out by the campfire with Kai and Heather.
Indeed.
And
Not the dog. He went inside.
not the dog, he almost got mauled by coyotes.
Yeah,
It was a whole thing.
pack of coyotes right over there.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
chasing after
It is
animals.
the frontier. So.
Yeah, it's the frontier. I mean, you can never be too careful. Wild animals abound, and
It's true.
such and so forth.
It is nice though that the animals, like our pets, have the freedom to just roam.
It's
Mhm.
true.
Like it's such a safe place as far as like vehicles or like people stealing a dog or
Mhm.
any of the craziness that might be in a city.
Mhm.
But yet there's so much wildlife that
Yeah.
it's risky
It's
for
true.
your animals to run wild in some ways, but not the same risk that you would find in a city.
I feel like normally the cat takes care of the chihuahua. She kind of looks after him.
That's true.
Mentors him. But, yeah, I don't know.
It's not wild like Piopod's wild though.
That's true.
That's
this
true.
is Tompkins.
Where Connor
Yeah.
lives, it's much worse.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
like, yeah.
Well, and you know what? Like,
There's wild dogs
There
there.
are wild dogs.
there are. I haven't seen any.
I
No
haven't.
wild dogs?
I haven't seen any wild dogs, but like it does remind me like the one time I went to I was in this one town and man, it was literally just lining the streets, just dogs anywhere. You couldn't like walk
What
without
town was this?
it's over in Alberta, it's by
Oh, okay.
Lethbridge. But yeah, it was like literally you couldn't go anywhere without coming across a dog. And then actually, funny story, there's a gas station there, and there's like a glass door or
Mhm.
like a glass window, and a dog tried to follow somebody into the gas station and walked directly into the glass window.
Hmm.
So anyway,
iPod's a bit like that. It's like, it's a little prickly.
but not
But,
as not as bad.
But they're also like the nicest people once you live there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just go from house to house and drink beer with people. On a
Yes,
summer
that's I did that the other day. I just wandered around and people were like, "You're Sea Can Connor," because there's sea cans on my property.
Oh, you have a nickname already.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
good.
good.
For you.
Sea Can Connor.
Sea Can Connor.
I love it.
And I'm like, yep, it's me, Sea Can Connor. And he's like, come in for a beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that nickname.
yeah.
That's good.
So good.
Oh.
It kind of makes you sound like a pirate or
Sea
something.
Can
Old
Connor.
sea can Connor.
Oh. Yarg.
You
Oh,
gotta-
I love driving land yachts, so it works.
Yeah,
I'm a
it
road
does,
pirate.
Yeah.
You are a road
I'm
pirate.
gonna start calling you that.
You can call me Sea Can Connor. It's okay.
When I'm out there this summer helping you with the property, we got to do what I used to do. I had like a wooden staircase up to the top of the sea can.
It's still there.
It's rickety. It needs some loving.
I've used it,
Have you? Okay.
and I've gone up there.
It's probably fine for Connor.
It is probably fine for. It's not fine for me. I would die. I'd fall and die. Anyways, I got a lazy boy chair up there,
Mm-hmm.
and it stayed up there for months. And I would just be sitting smoking cigars in my lazy boy chair. And
I think that lazy boy chair might be still in the yard.
yeah, because the wind blew it off in a windstorm, and it is in several pieces.
No, it's-
But for almost a year, there was a big lazy boy up there that I would sit in and smoke my pipe, and people thought it was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
It's quite the view up there. It's nice.
It sounds nice.
So maybe we got to find you an old lazy boy. We can this time maybe we'll bolt it to the sea can or something.
Yeah.
Or put a ratchet strap around it.
Get one out in Larry's yard. I think he has one in his yard.
I think there's a lot of yards here that have old lazy boys in them. You could probably get one.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be difficult.
Although that said, the people that have lazy boys in their yard are not the kind of people that typically are willing to sell furniture.
That's
Lazy
true.
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've had lots of conversations about like the unwritten laws of garbage,
The garbage code.
the garbage code.
Yes.
Is Heather familiar with the garbage code?
Not really. It's more of a man thing,
That's true.
honestly.
Um,
You don't touch a man's garbage.
you don't touch a man's garbage
ever.
ever, and
You can add garbage.
you can. That's so. There's two laws. There's two laws of garbage.
Can we add that table over there to the garbage pile?
Yeah, actually,
Perfect.
we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna throw that in the garbage pile in Piopod.
Okay, perfect.
Because I don't want it.
Yeah. Well, so for the viewership,
It's got good screws in it
For
to be
the-
dismantled.
for the viewership, there are 2 laws of garbage, of a man's garbage.
True.
No, rule number 1: you don't touch a man's garbage.
Ever.
At least not if he's watching. You can touch a man's garbage if he watches.
That's
It-
true.
we-
If he's there,
Yes. Well, we established it's like going for dinner with a man's wife. If you
Yeah.
go one-on-one with a man's wife for dinner, it's weird. But if he's there, it's just a, third wheel situation.
yeah, that's
So-
specifically the way I explain it is like, it'd be weird if you took my wife to dinner alone.
Yeah.
Just like it'd be weird if you went through my stuff alone.
Exactly.
But-
It's a very strange.
If we did, if
A
we,
man is married to his garbage.
it's true. It's a secondary
Is
covenant.
every man like that?
Yes.
Yeah, all
What
men.
about like minimalist men?
That's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a minimalist man.
There
Yeah.
is such a thing as a man whose spirit is bound. And so
That's true.
there's no such thing as like a man. So like for example, like the kind of guy who sleeps like who only eats ramen and sleeps on a dorm floor with it's just a mattress and like a video game.
Uh-huh.
That
Kind of describes someone that used to be in the initiative.
but that is a man who also has a relationship with his garbage, but he is like much more choosy with his garbage.
Or
It's still garbage.
I'm gonna postulate a secondary idea here. I think that man, his garbage is mostly on the digital front. He's got
That's
hard
true.
drives. He's got all kinds of junk on his computer that
You're
if
making this very like targeted.
we've all
It's not.
It's not.
Like
We've all been
video
there.
games.
We've all
but
been
like,
there.
But like, so but
His
he'll
Steam-
have a game
his-
console, and he'll have like 500 downloaded Xbox games, and that's his garbage.
his Steam account
is his garbage.
is my wood pile. It's
I don't know that that type of person is going to agree to their Xbox being garbage.
if I went on their Xbox and started deleting games,
And even if they had
Right, but I
never
think-
played them,
I
even
feel like-
even if they were never going to play them.
I feel like that type of person though would be in deep denial of.
they
hoarding
yes,
garbage.
Well,
yes.
and most men are in deep denial
Most
about
men,
hoarding garbage.
we are like just very cognizant of it. Most
Yeah,
men, it's like
we're self-aware of the garbage.
we're self-aware about the garbage laws.
Mhm.
But this is just like for most men, it's on like a very deep kind of like internal subconscious
Yeah,
level.
it's this substructural.
It's
thing.
it's kind of like the foundation of male psychology is
It
to
is.
hoard garbage.
It's true.
But
We have some similarities with like magpies.
yeah,
Women do it with jewelry,
That's not true.
clothing.
That's not true either. I don't have a lot of things.
There's a lot of bags of clothes in the attic. Is all I'm saying.
well, anyway, enough marital disputes
anyway,
for out on the
moving
trail.
on.
The second law
My
of a
wa-
man's garbage.
I don't have a lot of clothes. I really don't.
She's actually gotten rid of a lot.
I have.
It's true.
The second law of a man's garbage is you may add but not remove.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes. A
Like-
man is always willing to accumulate more garbage.
And then he can discern. He can discern whether it is garbage or whether it is treasure.
Yes.
Like if Connor went through a bunch of scrap wood on my scrap wood pile, I'd be grateful. I'd look through it. I'd be like, most of this is to go in the fire pit, but some of it might be useful one day.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. No, so
but
that's
if he took things from my wood pile
that's a
without
different
me
story.
being there or without explicit permission,
Yeah.
That's good. We've established the garbage.
yeah, the garbage laws.
Well, it's an important part of the contract for me living in Payapod
it is.
To
It's
not touch
actually
garbage.
is
About-
to have a very deep understanding of the sacred laws of garbage.
Which
There-
is really good because I never imagined that there would be someone to purchase that
to
property.
contract.
Because I said no one will ever buy your property
Mm-hmm.
with all that garbage.
For the right man, that garbage is like it's part of the deal.
I know.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
actually a little
It's
bit
useful.
frustrated that I was wrong.
I
I really wanted to be right because I was like, you just need to clean up that garbage that's on that property. And you need to remove those sea cans full of garbage. They
Mm-hmm.
need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, the right person will come along that will appreciate the garbage. And I'm like, that's insane. You might as well just get that cabin moved and we'll use it as a guest house in the backyard or something because no one's ever buying your property. Like, forget it. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come along and you're like, oh, that's fine. This is fine.
I
This
can,
is great. There's all this garbage.
I
Because you aren't old enough to have accumulated that
I,
much
I
garbage.
need I need to like look. I can one day be like this. I
That's
can
right.
have this much garbage.
well, and Connor's not wrong. Like our like owner's agreement with the cabin and the property there, about a third of the contract is literally clauses about garbage, about what garbage he can touch, about what permissions he needs to utilize certain scrap materials. It's like the
I think he
majority.
should have demanded to have the garbage removed. That's just
Well,
what I would have
But
done.
see, this is the thing, and this is one of the interesting things. I was thinking, like, when you started talking about, like, the garbage, I do think that is why, like, marriage is so important.
Mhm.
Because a man is married to his garbage,
Mhm.
right?
That's true. It's
A garbage is a man's first love.
it's a serious covenant.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when he makes the second covenant with a human being,
Preferably a lady.
yes, that and this is like the female psychology is to like obliterate the garbage.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's a tension there,
yeah, like
a sensual tension.
Yeah, we had to literally buy a commercial property so that we had a place for your garbage.
And a lot of it I'm trying to sell.
I mean, not in the front part of the store, but there is 3 rooms in the store,
oh my god,
and Kai has way too much garbage in them. I actually want to tear down 2 of the rooms at the commercial property. The 2 back rooms, I want to get rid of them. Kai won't let me tear them down because they are actual garbage.
I can save them. I can
see,
save
and
them.
that's the same thing with all garbage.
It's true.
Is they've got good screws.
They do. They got.
That back room is worth nothing. It needs to go.
Are you telling me that all those bricks are worth nothing? Do you know the price of bricks? Have you looked at the brick
Are
market
you just
recently?
gonna like part out the store brick by brick?
I am gonna part out the store brick by brick. That's exactly what I'm
Okay.
gonna do. But with the contract in Piapot, I mean, my hope is that in time. Oh, he's doing that thing. Thank you, monsieur. Anyways, I hope, like, basically the contract is that once me and other interested parties have picked through the garbage adequately,
Mhm.
and we've determined that we've taken what we need from it, then Connor can then inherit the garbage, sort of in a collective agreement where we can get rid of what we got to get rid of, and then Connor can keep. You know, it's like it's almost like an inheritance.
Well, civilization is a man accumulating garbage under which he shall not pick out through the screws.
But does
Right.
the man control the garbage, or does the garbage control the man? It kind of seems like he's controlled and led by this garbage.
Well, that's what a woman's for.
Yes, she creates that pressure to release garbage that is. Too
It's kind of like you know how it's like, you ever read The Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
So you
Well,
know.
I mean, I've watched the movies.
Okay,
I haven't
good
read the
enough.
books,
So you know
but
how
yeah.
like Frodo, like the ring is like it holds so much power.
Yes.
Yes.
And like so there's like this power to the ring, and he can't part with it, but he ultimately has a quest to dispose of the ring. So a man accumulates garbage, and the garbage does develop power over him.
Huh.
But then through marriage and through you know, the unity of love with a woman, the woman gives him the strength to destroy the garbage.
It's true. Lord of the Rings is actually a metaphor for a man's garbage.
So it's like idol worship. Like you worship, you're giving your like power over to that broken.
Well, you have to
chair
understand, again,
over in the corner.
Lord of the Rings is a little more complicated than that. The ring also gives power.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a two-way street.
So you get power from the garbage.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
and that that's why
because like for example, Kai's never ever going to use half the tools that are in the sea can.
Mhm.
But he holds like the keys to the kingdom when I need some of the tools, and I can ask him to borrow
That's
the
true.
tool. And he's like, yes, I have just the tool for that. You go and you dig through this garbage here, you dig through that garbage there, and then there's a tool in there.
Yeah,
And then now I'm indebted to him
it's true.
spiritually.
It builds loyalty and deep companionship amongst men.
Okay.
And that's how civilization is built, actually. And women enjoy the fruits of that civilization, but they also have to moderate it. It's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
here, one would say that those piles of pallets are garbage, but they're slowly turning into a beautiful tiki bar for my wife and I to enjoy in the summer.
That's true.
The garbage is being transferred into a new covenant where it's now collective. And you're part of it. You're deeply part of it.
Anyway, speaking of Piapot.
Actually, you were speaking of garbage, but I guess
No, well, the garbage
the
is in
garbage
Piapot.
is representative of Piapot. It's not very nice. Sorry, Piapot.
I'm sorry. No, I really love Piapot.
Piapot's great. I love Piapot.
But speaking of Piapot,
I actually feel like the amount of, garbage is a strong word, but the amount of things that people in Piapot have acquired in their properties is a show of freedom.
that's true.
They're a free people. They're unconquered.
Mhm.
They can have an entire shed filled with milk jugs
It's
to
not
the
a
ceiling.
shed.
House. They can have an entire house filled with milk jugs, and it's their
And
right.
nobody can stop them.
It's true. It's the ultimate freedom. It's like being on the steppe as a nomad.
Would you say it's things city folk wouldn't understand?
It is things city folk wouldn't understand.
And I didn't understand it until I moved there,
Because you were city folk,
because I was city folk.
right?
So one may wonder what caused a city slicker like me to move to a place like Piapot.
Yes, we'll need another log in the fire for this story.
Yes. What caused a city slicker like me to move to a place like Piapot? Good question. Thank you, audience.
And just to clarify, Piapot is part of the Greater Tompkins.
It's part of the
area.
Greater Tompkins area. It's about 15 minutes west of here.
Yes.
And so I was born and raised in Lethbridge. I lived in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, for 20 years of my life. And it was interesting because Lethbridge is kind of like just in that weird space where it's just big enough to have like everything that a city has, but then it's small enough that it's like I would get recognized on the street, which you don't really get in places like Calgary where there's like 3 million people. But I would get recognized just driving down the street and people would be like, "Hey, Connor!" So it's kind of that weird in between. And so the story of like why I moved here is interesting because so I met these lovely folks in court.
It's true.
We're in court.
At court.
At court is.
For a mutual friend.
Yeah. They were in Lethbridge. And at the time they were living in Medicine Hat. And we met and we kind of just hit it off as friends.
Well, actually, you were dancing.
I was
The lady
dancing.
in front of the courthouse.
Yeah.
And Kai was standing there, and he's like, "I think I would like to be friends with him." There were two gentlemen that day that he decided to befriend, and you were one of them.
Mhm.
And he's
Yeah.
like, he's dressed very nicely. He's
Mhm.
dressed in a really nice suit, and he is dancing in front of the courthouse, and it is cold outside. So he just interrupted this dancing.
I think my actual words were that kid over there is dressed up like he's going for a pheasant hunt. I think I need to get
You may
his
have said
number.
that. I don't remember how the actual wording was. But
Well, it's funny
You did.
because I know the exact outfit I was wearing
Of
that
course
day.
you do. Of course you do.
And I was dressed like I was wearing a tweed Norfolk jacket. And like yeah. No, and it's true. And so we exchanged numbers and we started talking and then we ended up hanging out. We went on a big road trip all the way I know. We're mauling other dogs, thankfully.
Yeah,
Um,
Texas safe. The drumstick is in the house.
Sorry.
But we ended up making this big road trip out to Saskatoon in Saskatchewan. And that's when we really got to know each other, was in Saskatoon.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were you still living in Medicine Hat, or had you already
We were
moved?
here, but we had only been here for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were here. Because that's when that guy came to our door, which is another story.
Yeah, we had a drifter came to our house looking for us while we were in Saskatoon.
Because Kai stole his keyboard.
There was a dispute over a piano, an electronic piano.
It was a keyboard.
Yeah,
Like,
and this traveling drifter man, he wanted his piano back.
Because Kai made a deal with him.
I did make a deal with him. The terms of the deal were that if he came back within 2 days, I pawned the piano. He pawned the piano. I gave him $50. He gave me the piano. He had 2 days to pick it up. He did not show up for about a month, and he somehow thought that the piano would still be here. It wasn't. I gave it to another good friend of mine as a wedding gift.
This does not make you sound much. Maybe we should have just left it at the vagrant part.
We actually shouldn't have even bothered to talk about that story.
I think I did the right thing. I gave a vagrant a hotel room for a night and paid for his hotel room after he begged me to take his piano. And I made a contract with him, and he broke the contract. And so I gave the piano as a gift.
Kai tried to help this gentleman out until the owner of the bar came back. And then the owner of the bar was like, this guy's just going to get out of my bar.
Corey did throw him out of the bar.
Yeah.
And he reappeared a few times over the course of that summer. Luckily, my neighbor here, older gentleman, he told him to buzz off. We're not home. And get trucking.
But
Enough, yeah.
Drifter.
So
Yeah, moving on from the drifter. So
yeah, so
Saskatoon.
you guys you were living in Tompkins at the time.
Yeah.
And
early days, yep.
Yeah.
that was before the election.
Before the election.
Before the election, and so. But it was during this trip to Saskatoon that we really became good friends, and I ended up going back to Lethbridge, and we didn't really. We would talk over the phone every now and again, but like
every month or so we'd have a phone call.
Yeah, and then I didn't really see you guys again until your wedding.
Yes.
Which was only a month later. It may have seemed like a long
That's
time.
true.
It was only a month
It was
later.
only a month after Saskatoon.
Yeah. Because it was September 11th.
No, but I thought Saskatoon was in July.
It might have been like very end.
It was the end of July, and then it was
Okay.
September
So-
11th was the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Connor, who, again, we met him at a courthouse once, and we went on a 2-day road trip with him to Saskatoon, and then he emceed our wedding a month later.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I guess that shows. I mean, when
Which was at the Legion, which Connor is now a member of, and
that's true.
had a Legion meeting.
Well, the wedding was at the
tonight.
Legion. The reception was at
The
the
reception was
Yeah.
at the Legion.
But yeah, and so I emceed their wedding, and then that was the same. Didn't I campaign for you that same week? I don't think I did. I come
You
back.
came back.
I think it was
Yeah,
after
because
the
you
wedding.
came back because I remember Kai specifically saying like that guy is so dedicated that he came back to campaign after he was just here. So it was like a week later.
It wasn't long after the
You
wedding.
came here to do door knocking and like just like out of your own time. Yeah, it's just 'cause, I don't know. I guess you just want to door knock for me for a local election.
Yes. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I think it really, when you lay it out like that, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't.
It doesn't like you hardly knew us,
But it's like,
but yeah, you did.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like those, kind of like those bonds. When you find the right people, those bonds are really like kind of forged hard, you know?
I mean, with Heather, we had 2 sort of coffee dates
You bring this back to you.
over a period.
No, it's that's what this is for. Is we're just telling stories around a campfire.
So, we had 2 coffee dates that were like several months apart, and they were great coffee dates. The first one was a coffee date, the second one was a steak sandwich, and I think the third one was a coffee date. That third coffee date, this is the third time I've really met Heather. I asked her to go on a road trip to Winnipeg with me for a week, and she was going to go. And the only reason it didn't happen was because her living situation kind of got a little topsy-turvy. But yeah, that's the same thing. It's like we've had 3 coffee dates. Let's go on a road trip to Winnipeg.
So
When you know, you know.
Yeah. And I think that kind of just goes for a lot of things in life. And so, continuing on with like kind of our joint story, you guys, after the election, you guys eventually got hold of the store, and then I came for the grand opening, and then
As it turned out, I did lose the election.
yes, you lost the
But
election.
not by a lot.
Not by a lot.
And no one knew who we were.
Yes.
We just bought this house in May, and I ran for the election in September.
And honestly, we've discussed it since, and we think the town made the right choice.
I do.
Yeah.
I would have really not had a great feeling about Tompkins if they had just elected some random person just like moved here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We think they made the right decision.
They didn't have enough time to really gauge like
No.
who we were, what we were about. So it's like I think it's good because it shows that they have discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, like we didn't really know that much about the community. We'd only been here like 4 or 5 months. So should they have elected Heather? No, definitely not. But we did a good campaign. Connor did door knocking. It was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's had their door knocked on for an election here since like the 70s.
That's what everyone kept telling me. They're like, "You're door knocking in a Tompkins election."
He had a suit and he had
Yeah, I had a suit and a clipboard and like pamphlets. And it's like, knock, knock, knock. Have you heard about the campaign of Heather Hodgson for town council here in Tompkins, Saskatchewan? And it's like, who are you?
That's true.
You a Wickstrom boy? No.
How do you know Heather? I drive from Lethbridge to campaign.
I'm your campaign manager. But yeah, so as time went on, like I came out more and more frequently. Like anytime you guys got the store and you had the grand opening, and then you guys would have events, and I would come out for like every event, and as many as I could. And over that first summer, not over that first summer, but over this. When did you have Scotty staying in the store?
That was last summer.
Yeah.
For most of the summer, Scotty.
Yeah.
was
Most of
there.
the summer.
He came out probably in about May, and he
May.
stayed until it got cold, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you had initially offered that deal to me to stay in the store,
Yes.
and I almost did it. I almost went, and we had worked out a whole plan, a whole deal for me to do indentured servitude.
Yes.
Kai's always wanted an indentured servant.
I was going to be an indentured servant at the store in exchange for Cheez-Its. That was pretty much just it. In exchange for Cheez-Its, I could live there.
That's true.
I mean, I like Cheez-Its, and living there, I could work. I would work and run the store for them. And
there were other elements. We were going to try to help him start his own business.
yeah,
Which are all things we will still do.
mostly the Cheez-Its.
But just so you know, we're open to indentured servitude. So
Yeah, if anyone is looking for an indentured servitude tenure, like I know the indentured servant market is kind of like facing hard times these days, but it's alive and well here in Tompkins.
it's the only place where you can still be an indentured servant, which has its perks, honestly. You don't have that many responsibilities. You're kind of taken care of.
You have all the Cheez-Its you could want.
Or whatever your specific dietary preference is.
Yeah.
It could be lentils or potatoes. I try to make that deal with another guy.
Yeah.
He's hoping it's potatoes or lentils.
Yeah.
Go for the Cheez-Its. Anyway, so, and I almost did it, but I tell my dad that I was going to go do this and be an indentured servant.
You were like 19 at the time?
I was 19 years old, and I go to my father, and I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm going to go be an indentured servant in Saskatchewan for my friends. You know the friends whose wedding that I went to, and you don't even remember their names? And he's like, son, I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent this from happening.
No wonder people used to call us a call.
But he was like, yeah. He's like, I'm going to do anything in my power to stop this from happening.
Which was great for you.
It was. It was like the first time I like woken my dad up to like how awful my situation was in Lethbridge. Because like I'd been working this dead end job at an industrial truck wash for years. And I was trying to like do things to like, I tried college, I tried university, I tried all this stuff. And it just wasn't working. I wasn't able to socially advance. And I was just stuck where I was. And there's nothing I could do. I tried all different kinds of jobs. And so for me, who was like desperately looking for a way to like make any sort of change to my life, I was like, maybe indentured servitude is where it's at. And so then my dad, for the first time in his life, he was like, oh crap, I need to do something.
I need to parent a little bit.
I need to parent a little bit to stop this.
I need to help my son out a little.
So he looks around on the World Wide Web, and then there's this job posting at the city of Lethbridge. I apply, I go for an interview, and I get the job. And then I work for a whole summer at the city of Lethbridge, and it was a really nice paying job. It was a good job, but I mean, it had its own difficulties. But if I'm being honest, I probably could have made a career out of that job if I had wanted to, and been set and had a middle class lifestyle. But
the draw of the Greater Tompkins
yes.
area.
So
it won out in the end.
Because after my contract season ended, and it was winter time, and I was on EI, and waiting for next spring for the next season, I kind of just realized that wasn't what I wanted. Like I could get a livelihood, but it wasn't. Well, I'm gonna first start by saying there was technical difficulties. We're back in action.
That's true. We have iced tea now.
We have iced tea. Ignore the jump cut. Cheers. So, as I was saying, I did a lot of soul searching and praying, and it was when I was praying, I was at church, that, and another important aspect of this is I was about to go and try university again. So I had a career, like things were like turning around. I had a potential career. I was going and about to get approved. Like I got approved for university. I was about to go into a bachelor's for political science. I finally got approved because I had been trying to get into this particular program for a while, and once things had finally seemed like it was turning around, that's when it like hit me. And it's like, this isn't right.
So you pretty much burned your whole life to the ground and moved to Tompkins.
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. Because
well, like, I mean, I know that it wasn't that way because you felt called to it, and when God called you to something,
yes.
Sometimes it doesn't quite look like the right decision.
Yes.
To a person that may not have a lot of it.
In my experience, it never does.
Yeah.
It always makes you look crazy.
It's always a test.
But it's like, it's bizarre because it's like when my life was at the bottom. One of the ways I framed it, because it was interesting, because that first time when I was going to go do indentured servitude, I was going to do it, but it felt wrong the whole time. And it wasn't because of the indentured servitude, it was something else.
Yeah, Connor's not against indentured servitude.
No, I'm basically
Just
back.
to be clear.
Yeah. But then, once things were like looking up for my life in Lethbridge, that's when I just toss it all to the wind, because then it felt right. And I phrase it.
It's like you actually had a choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I phrase it like, I'm not running away from something, I'm running towards something. Yeah. Because the first time I was running away from Lethbridge, now I don't feel like I'm running away from Lethbridge. I'm running towards Saskatchewan. And I mean, I can just say, like, there's been trials, but my quality of life, I would say, like, mentally has improved quite a bit.
You got some pretty good prospects too that have slowly lined up. It took a bit of time, but it's looking pretty good.
And I generally, like, for the first time, feel like I'm on the right track towards something. And what that will look like in the end, I don't know. But I'm going towards something. And there's also, in terms of that kind of decision to move, there was another thing. And I like it when you tell this story, because it was funny seeing it, hearing it from your perspective. Because...
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Will Wilson.
Will Wilson.
Yes.
So, one of the times I came to visit prior to me making the decision finally to move, this was when I was, like, seriously considering it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I was kind of in that time where I was really thinking about it, but I was still on the fence, and Kai decides to take me on a trip down to East End, which is about 40 minutes south.
Yeah.
To visit a friend of ours, now a friend of mine, but it was just a friend of his at the time, who owns a bookshop. And we're just talking, and now you can tell the story from here.
Yeah, so both Heather and I, since we've come out here, and we'll tell our whole story at some point too, but we've kind of evangelized this idea of this kind of frontier lifestyle, this, like, coming out to rural Saskatchewan, that there's opportunities out here that people are not really aware of in other places. We've found that for us, we've had more opportunity out here than I ever had in Alberta, and Heather ever had in Nova Scotia. And
Mm-hmm.
Well, and even, like, take Connor, for example. Like, you relocated in December, and how many boards are you currently sitting on now? Like, you're
Yeah.
on a lot of things. You've got your hand on a lot of things. It's a great place to, have those kind of opportunities that in cities it's a little harder to get those positions.
Well, and, like, taking ownership of the community, in a sense, like the community that you're a part of.
Right.
Being able to take ownership and take pride in that.
yeah, and I think that is the key. Like, I think we've all come to that conclusion now, especially Connor after he's been here for a while, of what is really important about why we're here. But even outside of that, just the economic opportunity is important. It's an important factor. The cost of living, the job opportunities. And when you tell people that, they think you have three heads. They're like, Tompkins, Saskatchewan, a town of 150 people. There's job opportunities. You're pulling my leg. And Connor thought that every time I brought it up.
Well, it's not even that I thought it. It's I believed you, but, like, there's that part of me that's like,
How?
Yeah, and it's like this guy. I don't know.
Like, if I'm having a hard time making a go of it in Lethbridge,
Yeah.
where there should be tons of jobs and opportunities,
Yeah.
how is moving to a town of 150 people,
Mm-hmm.
going to, in another province, a very unpopulated province,
Mm-hmm.
going to solve this? But it is surprising. There is a shortage of young people here that are willing to work. I think it's just the demographics. There's just not that many of us. And so you get a lot more opportunities than you would think. A lot of people ask you to do things. And especially after you're here for a while and you know people well, it just keeps coming. And both Heather and I can attest to that. But I was trying to explain that to Connor, and we've talked about that with other people too.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor was skeptical, rightly so. And, you know, we were trying to offer him things that we were connected to or things we knew about.
Yeah.
But, you know, that always kind of seems like you're blowing smoke up somebody's butt.
Well, or alternatively, there's the element of, like, this is something that's explicitly connected to you, and, like, what if you have, like, some kind of nefarious purpose? Because
Right.
bear in mind, you know, even though I was willing to be your indentured servant, there is also the fact you got to consider that I still had only seen you guys like a handful of times total.
And we had a pretty firm reputation as being a cult,
Yeah.
which, you know, understandably so. It was mostly just because we held church in our store, but and we did have some weird events, and we'd have some interesting speakers, but anyways, Connor came down for a visit, and I took him out to East End just for a little day trip, just to go check out this awesome bookstore, because Connor and I both love books. Heather loves books. We all love reading.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Did you
place...
happen to go to Jack's Cafe when you went down there?
No.
Next time.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in East End. But it was also cool for Connor just to get an idea of, like, what's around here. Because Tompkins is great, and there's lots of stuff in Tompkins, but these little communities that are like a 30, 40-minute drive, they have these unique little things that are cool, that are part of the bigger community. And this bookstore is the best bookstore I've ever been in. It's just, it is so meticulously organized, and it's such a cool collection. And the proprietor, Will Wilson, is just the most interesting character. And I could just talk to him for hours, just forever. And so I brought Connor down there, and that's exactly what happened. Connor got talking with Will for like 3 hours. I didn't even get a word in edgewise.
It wasn't 3 hours, it was like an hour.
Forever. And so I was just looking at books, and Connor's like, he's picking books out for Connor, and they're having a real hoot, a real good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere along the way, Will mentioned that he has a hard time finding help, and that he'd like to run the store more hours. And so Connor was a little bit interested, and he mentioned that, you know, it's hard to find young people that are willing to come and work out in these smaller communities. And he's like, you know, and I've even offered to pay like $25 an hour, but nobody's really interested.
Mm-hmm.
And Connor's like, what? $25 an hour? He's like, yeah, I'd pay you $25 an hour. And I was like, for real? Because, like, I'm not making that working for the city of Lethbridge.
Yeah.
And this is like to sit at an antique bookstore and like read philosophy all day and chit chat with people.
Yeah.
And I think Will offered some other options too, like other people that were looking for work. And then there was, you know, the theater job had come up at the same time. So there was just all of these really cool opportunities that Connor got to see independently and had nothing to do with Heather and Kai.
Yeah.
So
it was like, oh crap, this is real. They're not just like trying to scam me,
Yes.
right? But yeah, and so that also obviously contributed, but it was like the way that it contributed was just how perfectly it lined up with where my headspace already was.
Right, because you had sort of like a vision or premonition of some sort, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't a premonition. I was praying in church, and I was like, because I had kind of been feeling that like pull in a sense, and I was at church just on a regular day, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just praying, and it just kind of pops into my head, and I'm like, but like I have like this job at the city, and like I'm about to go to university, and I'm about to do all this stuff. So like, why would I move to Saskatchewan? And it was just like, because that's where you're needed or whatever. Like it's just you gotta do it. It's like, don't question it. It's just,
we can relate.
yeah, it's just what you have to do. And it's like, okay, I guess. And I'm like, okay, God, whatever you say. And so I'm like, it was literally that same night, I think, I call you and I'm like, hey, I just talked to God and God says I have to come here. So let's make the plans.
And we did.
Yeah.
And like Connor said, there were some bumps on the road. It wasn't super easy to get his foot in the door, but
I mean, the other aspect of that as well is like that around that exact same time, like it was that same week, because I had been like putting lines out on things just to like kind of test the waters, because like I said, I was deliberating, and that same week I got hired at a job here that was paying like $40,000 a year, and it's like
which is pretty good when you're 20.
Yeah, when you're 20, and it's like that was this, like, God had just told me that I need to move to Saskatchewan, and then that same week I get hired at a job for $40,000 a year, which is like was more than I was making at the city. And it's like, well, I can't say no now. Like even if I hadn't been like praying about it, there's no way I can say no to that. It was just everything just lined up exactly as it needed to get me here. And then, like you said, there has been bumps once I'm here, but things have sorted themselves out in that way as well. So
yeah, because I think as much as, you know, and this goes for like any job that like I've had and I'm no longer at, I think there's something to be said in when one door closes, another door opens. And I think, Connor, for you, you're exactly where you need to be now. But that was just a starting point for you. That was the confirmation you needed to be able to jump ship. Because you may not have, well, I mean, you wouldn't have applied where you're at now, and then, you know, which is really a great opportunity, and that's been going super well. And it's actually better, and I see you happy in that role. And it, like, suits you. Everyone says that all the time. So.
Yeah, it's a great fit for you. It's awesome, and you've met some cool people there. And like the other big bump was the housing situation.
Yes,
it can be difficult, especially when you don't have a bunch of cash in your pocket, you know, to get established out here. You know, it's great if you got like $40,000, you can get a pretty wicked house, but there's not a lot of rentals, and there especially weren't a lot of rentals when Connor really needed one. Luckily, a friend of ours took Connor in for a little while, and that worked. But, you know, a man wants well enough, and we're very grateful for that.
Yes.
And it's good that the community can help, but it's never a long-term thing. You know, you want your own plot, you want your own place to call home. And Connor's goal, I think, was very much to actually own something. And that's been difficult because of, you know, some of the stuff with jobs and money. It's like, you know, if some things fell through that we were hoping would work, but at the end of the day, it actually worked out, I think, in everybody's best interest, where Connor is now taking on my land and my garbage, for that matter. And I you know, we didn't really see it before that, but man, it suits you.
Well, like it's interesting because Connor, when we drove by that property, he had actually seen a woodshed that was on the property, and he thought that was the cabin this whole time.
He did.
So he just wasn't interested. He just assumed that was the cabin, and then that was that. And that was not somewhere that he was interested in living. And then when he actually seen the cabin, he was like,
this is awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an actual
live
cabin.
Here. How come you've never offered this to me? And it's like, well, I mentioned it. And he's like, well, I did think it was just that woodshed.
Well, because there's like, it's a shed made out of plywood. And I'm like, you want me to live in that? Kai's asking me, like, hey, do you know anyone I can sell this to? And I'm like, how am I supposed to sell this plywood shack?
Well, And it's
like,
funny because we had a conversation, a bit of a debate, you and I, where I was saying what I wanted to get for the cabin when I sold it, and you were like trying to very politely tell me like, Kai, you really need to lower your expectations. That it might be worth that to you, but it's not worth that to anybody else. And again, keeping in mind, Connor had never actually seen the cabin. He saw a tool shed. So then the day that we actually took him out to go visit the cabin and have a little tour, he's like, oh, this is like actually nice. Like this could work.
Yeah.
And then that day we worked out a deal and had kind of a handshake situation that we've figured it out more since then, but we didn't really see it either because we're like, Connor, he dresses fancy, he probably wants to have power, he likes to edit videos.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like in even the first few weeks you were out there, it was like such a nice change. I feel like you had a sense of like freedom and ownership to actually make the space your own.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can figure all those things out. Like,
yeah,
and
live
he is
in a day and age where there are solar panels, which you have some now, and you just figure that stuff out. I mean, it wouldn't be for me. I would really struggle with the running water myself, but
I mean, and oh my gosh, it's so dark.
it is dark.
We're out of wood.
I'll get more wood.
From your wood garbage pile?
No, that's not garbage.
See? The sacred...
Burning like garden wood?
This is firewood that I used in the garden, but this bed is moving anyways, so it's okay.
Listen,
Trust
I have
me.
infinite wood. I have infinite wood at the cabin if we need more wood.
That's where this came from. It's from the cabin wall.
Speaking of campfires,
Yes.
Kai and I went down to help out with the town cleanup yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
we were speaking with the mayor, and they're going to put a permanent, like, campfire in that empty lot.
In Dimmick and
downtown.
Sons.
Yeah.
At Dimmick and Sons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to go there, and they're going to set up some benches and things so that on a Saturday night, people can just take some marshmallows and just go sit around the campfire and
That'll be
just
nice.
gather.
Yeah.
Like a
Pretty
community
cool.
gathering space. I was like, that's great. That's a great idea. So, yeah, the council's going to start working on that.
And I think that's nice. I mean, I think, honestly, I still think they should do something to kind of pay homage to the fact that that was Dimmick and Sons. I think it would be nice if it was like Dimmick and Sons fireplace or something.
We could probably do something like that. Like even not necessarily on the fire pit, but like we could suggest putting up a sign if we made it. Like
Yeah.
we could contribute that for sure.
I think we should. Because I think
That'd
that...
be very cool.
Because
Yeah.
one of the big things that I talk about a lot is kind of like, actually there's this interesting Japanese concept. And this isn't from the one that you're thinking that I'm about to mention.
Go
No,
on.
it's a different one. It's an interesting Japanese concept. So, during World War II, when the Americans firebombed Kyoto, was it Kyoto?
Yeah, which is now Tokyo.
No. Tokyo and Kyoto are two different cities. Because Kyoto means capital city, and Tokyo means
You're
west
right.
capital city.
You're right, they are different cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
My Japanese geography is not as good as I thought it was.
I had to learn a lot about Japan in middle school. It was part of the standard Alberta education for some reason.
Weird.
Odd.
Yeah, when I was in middle school, it was the standard curriculum.
Interesting.
Anyway, it's because we were comparing feudal societies, European, Japanese, and Aztec feudal societies.
I see.
Anyway, so, but when they firebombed Kyoto, which is like the historic, they've had buildings there since like the Middle Ages or whatever.
Yeah.
Like almost the entire city burnt down.
Mm-hmm.
But then they rebuilt it. And now, if we were to have a building burned down in Canada,
And rebuild it with laminate.
that's true. But besides that, we would then say the new building is a new building.
Yeah.
It's not the same building.
Yeah.
In Japan, they have their own solution to like this ship of Theseus problem, where if you replace all of the parts of a ship, is it still the same ship? Or if you replace the handle and the head of a broom, is it still the same broom?
So I think we could apply it to your car over
True.
Is it really the same car?
But the Japanese believe in a spirit of the builder.
Interesting.
And they kind of assert that, yes, it is the same building. Even if the Americans firebombed it and there's not a single piece left over, we have built this building with the same intention and the same spirit as the original person built that building. It may be a different building, but it is a building with the same intention, or with an intention. And one of the things I kind of lament in our kind of modern world is like the museumification of things, which is like would be culturalism in Mishima. But it's like we have such an obsession with like preserving things like in glue. It's like we have to glue things down or freeze them in time
instead of utilizing those historic things in the spirit that they were actually created,
or
like
or
to
just
be of
with
use.
an intention
To be of use.
to be of use. So that's one of the things I like, but then it's also like it's not only just something that is being used, but it's like carrying with it that spirit in some sense. So even something as simple as a sign that is that's acknowledges that this was once Dimmock and Sons, but now it's a campfire ground.
Yeah.
I think goes a long way into kind of maintaining that spirit of the builder.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because when you think about the Frontier Trading Post and what an actual co-op actually
Back then.
is and it was in that time, we are actually truer to being a co-op than the co-op grocery store or gas station.
In some sense, yeah.
In some sense, we are an actual co-op, which is interesting.
That's true. Yeah.
A cooperative
Maybe
enterprise.
it's because the spirit of the building, decided what it wanted to be.
Yeah.
It wants to be a co-op.
Because we were pretty open to what the Frontier Trading Post was going to be. Just like, well, we'll try this, we'll do this. It's kind of evolved over time.
It's true. And that gets back to the indentured servant thing. We joke about it, but what we really want is for what we're doing to be a co-op, essentially.
Right.
And that does mean, like any co-op, you have to bring something to the table over time. You have to put some work in. You have to own parts of it. But then, yeah, you can reap the benefits. And that's, I think, Connor's only been here since December, and like he's got his foot planted pretty heavy into things. And I think this summer will be even more of that. I think we're gonna have some business enterprise that we're gonna do collectively that'll be fun. And yeah, I think it probably is the spirit of the building.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious because, I mean, we still have time, methinks. I told my whole life story, and I think we went into this with the original intention of kind of just talking about why we're all in Saskatchewan.
Yes.
So who wants to go next? AA meeting.
I think you should go next, Heather.
The mysterious Kai will remain mysterious.
Sure. So, I'll keep mine much shorter.
We both will.
We will, because we do need to go to bed at some point.
That's true.
I do have a business to run, and Kai does have a job to do.
I do have a job to do.
But yeah, why Saskatchewan? Why here? Well, for me, I have a very different story and a very different heart for the initiative, probably than either of you do. Because I come from a very different place. So, I come from Nova Scotia originally, and I found my way here. I found my way to the west a couple of times, but the last time I found my way to the west, it was much like Connor. So I think in the sense that I prayed a lot into what I was supposed to do, and it was just a season of kind of just exploring and figuring out where my place was in the world, and just really desiring change. So just get to a point in life where I just felt like there was a lot more to what I was doing. So coming from where I'm from, it was really, push the whole university thing, go to university, get a good job. Not really to buy a house or to, get married, have a family, any of those things. But just to really be self-sufficient. And, I found myself working a couple jobs, and that was really hard. And then I found myself getting into sales, and that was like a lot of high pressure, but I was able to make a decent amount of money. But when I look back on all that, none of those things actually got me ahead. So no matter how much money I made living in a city, I was from Halifax, I could get my dream apartment, and I did, and I accomplished all those things, ticking all the boxes. I got the new car, I got the apartment that had the beautiful deck that looked over the ocean, all the things. Things were going really well, but it was just this emptiness, and it's like there must be more, but I don't know what. Because growing up where I grew up in a smaller place, but back in Nova Scotia it's different than Saskatchewan, because towns are not towns. They're communities that have, maybe once existed, like way back, like in my grandparents' day, there was like some stores and a post office and a train ran through there. But since they've just become suburbs of the larger towns, so there's no community. There's not even a post office in these places anymore. So you don't get that sense of knowing your neighbors and really doing life together in those places. You just live in an inconvenient location. So that's just how it is. And I remember as a kid, like being bused to school for like over an hour because like just for some reason you're bused to the other side of the county to go to school. It's just a very different way of life. So long story short, I came out here, and I had stopped along the way, and there were certain places on my list that I thought like, well, these are potential places I might like to live, and I'd stopped there, and I just didn't feel it. And when I got to Medicine Hat, though, I stopped and I was at the gas station, and I just had this overwhelming feeling like I'm home. And I really felt that for Medicine Hat, and I was home for a season. I thought it would be much longer, and it was, but it wasn't. I continued on to BC, and then I ended up coming back, and I ended up doing some school for a little bit in Medicine Hat, and then I had met Kai there, and I was quite happy. My job was a little bit tough. It was a little bit stressful at times, but I was able to get like a place to live and everything. Things were going pretty well, but again, I had that feeling once again, there must be something more. There must be something more than working a job and living in an apartment and paying rent and spending your extra money, going for dinner or whatever with the kids. So that was kind of when Kai talked about Saskatchewan. He had the property in Liapot, and he really wanted to move to Saskatchewan at the time, or at least think about moving there because housing was cheap, but I was not really listening because I had really wanted to move to Alberta, and I'm like, well, that's too bad. That's unfortunate that you like Saskatchewan, but I'm never leaving Alberta. But then I actually found out how cheap it was, and that still wasn't enough. And that changed the game a little. So
it helps.
It does help. So then again, I'm praying about it, and it just kept coming up, and then when we actually found this house, we had actually found this house through Corey, the saloon. So we had come here one night, and he told us that I was actually telling Corey, we had just met, and I was telling him that we had just looked at this house in Piedmont, told him the price of it, because it was $30,000. He's like, that's way too opportunity became available like right away. So I took that. That didn't work out for me, much like your first situation there, and that's fine because in the end, the store came up for sale. Same thing, prayed about it, and I'm like, there's no way it's going to be affordable. So again, the asking price was just enough for what I had access to on the line of credit. So crazy enough, I prayed about it, and I couldn't get a loan, and I couldn't get a business loan, and I felt God telling me, I've already provided the money, and I was like, no, not the line of credit. Like that's how we're gonna survive if you know that the hot water heater breaks, which it did. But that was my buffer money. But we just did it, and we threw ourselves into it. But we did a lot of different things with it. I've always felt really like drawn to the store as being this community hub and this space. I really wanted to bring a lot of my background from ministry and things like that. I wanted to have that here, and I enjoyed hosting a lot of events that were Christian, and it was good for a while, but just one day I felt like that season was over, and that was kind of tough. And we've also had like a lot of different workshops and things like that, and that was like really cool. I really wanted it to be a community hub, and over time, I think I just had to redefine community, because what I wanted was what we have here, but it's not quite what I thought it would look like. So when I first started, with the community thing, I thought it meant recruiting people from, the past that I knew from maybe back home that wanted cheap housing or those things. And that's not enough to bring people in a community, or people that share the same maybe views, spiritual views and things like that. And it's like, that's not really enough. But what is it that makes a community? Well, it's people that actually want to do life together. It's people that actually want to, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what somebody's political views are. I guess
it does in a way.
It does in a way. But the core of it is, do people want to help their neighbors? Do people want the place? Do they care about the place they live in? Do they want it to flourish? Do they want the same things that you want? And I came here with the idea that maybe there were things that we were going to have to change, and over time I see it very differently. I see they've maintained this place through community involvement, institutions that have lasted, and people put their time and effort into these things, and they continue to build, and they maintain what is already here. And it's like, so we didn't have to do the groundwork. We just have to build on what's already here.
Yeah, we just have to participate, basically.
Well, and this goes back to how we started it. What's the second law of garbage? You always add, you never take away.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right, yeah. And there's nothing I would take away.
No, I
Well, no, seriously though, there's nothing I would take away. I think things are really good here.
Yeah.
It works.
It does.
It's a functioning society.
Which is better than you can say about most places these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's been a lot happening here too. Like since we've opened our business, like how many new businesses have opened? It's really up
Quite
and
a
coming.
few. It is, yeah. It's a happening spot.
Like I can't even count. I think there's like
Diners opened up, the tea shop,
Susie's, like Susie's doing her own
Susie's
business.
Cauldron,
The print shop.
print shop.
I feel like there's other. I think there's more. There's things going
Maple
on.
Mitten.
Maple Mitten.
Maple
Yep,
Mitten.
That's another one.
I mean, the Trading Post, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of those things are kind of... The cool thing, too, is they're...
Bean drop.
Yep, there's
Bean
that.
Drop Roastery?
There is Bean Drop Roastery.
Riz.
There's a few
Yeah.
things here that garner attention. And the cool thing is most of those things are interrelated, which is kind of cool. Like Susie's Cauldron, like she's making this like these awesome tallow products, but she's supplying all the tallow for all of the restaurants in the area. Like the ice cream stand, the diner, the Lucky Loon Saloon, all three of them make everything in tallow. Maple Mitten Kitchen.
Is there something Connor would like to add when we're talking about Susie's tallow?
No.
Steel beans.
No.
That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, Susie's Cauldron is our only sponsor here on Out on the Trail. And Susie's Cauldron,
I'm sorry, Susie.
beef tallow. It'll melt in your mouth, but you know what won't melt? Steel beams. So guys, did 9/11 happen?
I mean, it happened.
It's our wedding anniversary. That
Yeah.
happened.
It was a pretty good wedding, actually.
9/11 was a beautiful wedding. It's an anniversary we'll never forget. Anyway, as you were saying.
I disavow everything Connor said.
He almost missed that opportunity.
I almost did. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me
She-
of our illustrious sponsor, Susie's Cauldron.
So,
And
She encourages this.
who, Susie?
You.
Well, Susie gave us that $50 that one time.
She gave us $50 to sponsor
It was a concert.
our concert. So Susie's Cauldron gave us $50 to sponsor a concert. And ever since, Connor likes to bring it up in every podcast.
I didn't bring it up in the
Well,
last one either.
The
That's
reason for that was because it got forgotten about to do
Oh,
the
yeah.
endorsement. So it wasn't until the end of the night, and half the people had already gone home by that point. So I just didn't feel like Susie got value out of it. So
And now she's gotten way
Yeah.
too much value out of it.
it's true.
She's the sponsor of Out on the Trail podcast.
That's true. She is currently our only sponsor.
Hey, we have more open spots. If you want me to talk about whether or not 9/11 happened next to your business name, slide $50 our way.
That's true.
It's really not that much money.
No,
Listen, I don't know.
it's a lot.
I don't know.
It's a lot for us.
You could say it would be a good job if you were to put $50 inside my pocket.
This is a very low budget podcast. $50 does go a long way. And honestly, if you gave us $100, we could sponsor your product and not mention 9/11. Susie.
Susie.
I don't
Maple
think-
Mitten.
I don't think either of those ladies watched this podcast.
What do you mean? This isn't a ladies' podcast?
No,
I thought this is where they went to go learn the laws of garbage.
no. Honestly, as a lady, I would have turned this podcast off.
That's true.
I
That is
was
true.
I was actually going to try to redirect the conversation, but then I realized that this is what your podcast is. So
It is a garbage
yeah,
podcast.
it's,
That's true.
yeah, no woman would watch this podcast. Sorry,
And if-
maybe you're out there.
And if you are watching this podcast, you're a very special lady. I just want you to know
it's
that.
true.
Hey, and, you know,
You know what?
if you know the laws of garbage,
Oh, I thought
you're not garbage to me.
I thought Connor was going to try to get a date.
I thought so too.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you know the laws of garbage, he is eligible.
Eligible garbage.
He's eligible for a second covenant.
I need somebody to throw some of mine away, if you know what I'm saying.
That's okay. Anyways, where did we leave off?
We were talking about all these businesses. and
all these businesses started up, and yeah, things are improving, and a lot of people.
Susie
have moved
provides
here.
tallow for everything.
A lot of people have moved here. It's like the town is pretty up and coming, which
It is.
is interesting, and a lot of things are getting fixed up. And
And we've recently gone into selling plants in the store. I'm kind of starving the town out right now because I'm not getting produce anymore because I want them to grow it. I want
Yes.
people to grow the produce and sell it to the store.
Heather is intentionally sabotaging our business to encourage people to plant
You
gardens.
need to grow their own food. You don't know what's coming next. You know
That's
what comes
true.
down the pipe. As long
And
as
if-
you don't spray it with chemicals, I'll buy it back.
That's true, and yeah, we'll buy your produce.
Yeah.
It'd be better.
Yeah.
Just make
And
it
then
here.
you could start your own produce company and you could sponsor the podcast. and-
Right. I'm all
That's
about
true.
encouraging people to create businesses.
Yeah.
That's what we're about. So, again, going back to the Frontier Initiative, I don't know how many times I've had to hear, like, it's super vague. I don't know what it is.
Mhm.
But it is all of those things. It's about relocating. It's about building community. It's about living in community.
Mhm.
And helping people get out of the system, really.
Well, I think it's interesting because like there's kind of this inherent what seems like an inherent contradiction in the like mission of the Frontier Initiative, which is like we kind of tacitly encourage transplants and like people moving into small towns, which small towns are among the easiest to overwhelm. But then we are so also at the same time we're like hardcore on maintaining town cultures and
Yes.
like these like unique identities that these towns have. So it's like it's so often seen that like moving to a particular place alters the culture or the kind of composition or way of being of a particular locale. But part of our major objective is to entirely prevent that from occurring. And so it does seem like a bit of a contradiction. It's like you want to maintain local cultures, but you also want to move more people to small towns. So it's like
Right.
Yeah.
So I think at the core of it, we're about people coming here but assimilating to the culture
Yes,
that's already
absolutely.
here. Like that's our core belief. And I think the recruitment is finding people that also share those values of the people that already live here. So just building on what's already in existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of a hard sell sometimes, because I feel like a lot of the people that are interested in relocating, because they're coming from places where they don't like how things are, they have this feeling that they have to be combative, that they have to like take over institutions, or they have to change everybody's mind. Everybody has to be the same politics as them or the same religion, and it's like, if you move to a place that aligns with your core values, you should be able to integrate and actually enjoy what's already here and build upon it and help and participate. And sometimes that does mean that like you're not always going to get your way. Things aren't always going to work how you think they're supposed to work. But that's part of learning a new place, that it's different, that it's, and maybe understanding that maybe the reason that a place like this is different than where you're coming from is because of things that you don't understand and that maybe you need to learn. And that can be really tough. Like, I think we've struggled with that a little bit in the early days too. There's things where we're like, oh, I think we know better. And then over time we're here longer, we're like, no, we don't. We have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, and finding people that share that idea and are willing to actually learn the place before they try to alter it is challenging. But I think we are finding the right people slowly but surely, and Connor is foremost amongst those, I would say.
Yeah. Well, so, Kai, the hour has drawn. It is now your turn to tell your story, because, as Heather alluded, you were the first proponent of Saskatchewan.
I was the OG Saskatchewan evangelist.
Yes.
I really like Saskatchewan. So
Kai the Baptist.
yes, I was a Baptist. I still have many Baptist sympathies.
No, but I mean as in like John the Baptist is the forerunner of Christ.
Yes, I understand what you were doing. Anyways.
Can your story even be summed up
Ugh,
in part of a podcast, or
Not
do you need
really.
your own podcast?
I
Maybe that should be an episode.
I
all
can
over
tell a
Sparse notes.
shortened version of it. I'll focus on a few particular things and not on the whole checkered past.
But you do have a noble heart.
I do have a noble heart with a checkered past. It's true.
You work in a school and you have a checkered past but a noble heart. That's such a like. Why are we even saying that? Nobody understands that.
That's an inside joke. Which maybe we'll tell one day. Anyways, we'll try not to get too sidetracked here. I'll wrap this up. I think, why was I a proponent of Saskatchewan? How did I even learn about Saskatchewan? Because most people don't spend a lot of time thinking about Saskatchewan in this country, honestly. Like these guys, I had it pretty good in Medicine Hat in my heyday. I had a good job. I had a sweet apartment. It was huge. I had all the things. I spent lots of money on stuff I did not need.
Garbage.
Yeah, garbage. Actually, I'll relate to the digital garbage hoarders. I spent a lot of money on like Steam games and Netflix subscriptions and stupid stuff like that. That's like totally meaningless later in life.
Mm-hmm.
I did buy some good tools though, so I wasn't completely pointless. But at a certain point, even though things were going pretty good, and I did just start to have this same feeling that both of these guys had, which was like, what am I doing this for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, eventually, maybe I'll have enough to have a down payment on a house. Maybe I'll get a better position at my job. But, like, for what? What's, like, you're just doing it on your own. You have friends, but they're surface level.
Yeah.
They're friends that you go out and have a drink with, or you go see a movie, or you go to a party, or whatever. And I had some really good friends, like, through the Army. We go shooting and we go camping, and like those guys were great, but honestly most of those guys that I really liked lived in Saskatchewan, and that's part of what made them great.
Right.
And I would come out here to go shooting with them and like go rip around in trucks, and like that was fun. And over time I just thought, like, man, I'd really like to have my own patch of dirt. But I don't really want it to be in a city where the unfortunate thing that you find in cities, I think, for a lot of, especially for younger people, and this was true for me, is like you're kind of locked in your apartment or your rental or your house.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really, especially if you're renting, you're not working in the yard. You don't really own it. Even once you buy a house, a lot of times, you know, there's so many bylaws. You really don't have too many options about how you utilize your property, and it's never really yours. You're really crammed in with others. You don't get a lot of say. And even if you do, you know, you own a house and you have a yard and you get to do your stuff with that, you don't really have a say over your community.
Mm-hmm.
You can join local things. You can be part of a church. You can be part of, you know, a legion, but you don't have a lot of say in the big picture. You don't have a lot of say in how your neighborhood develops or how your city develops.
Yeah. Well, like I can empathize with like the impotent rage of
Rage, yes.
Yeah, the impotent rage of like hating a new development. So, do you mind if I tell a brief aside story?
Sure.
So, my father lives in Colehurst, which is the town we were not supposed to name on this podcast anymore.
Yes. Nobody wants to hear about Colehurst anymore.
But I will tell a story about Colehurst anyway. So, my dad lives in Colehurst, Alberta, and across the street from where he lives, he has his own patch of dirt. It's actually the oldest house in Colehurst.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because the whole rest of the town burnt down in a mining disaster. Which, like, every single town in Alberta has had, like, a mining disaster.
It's true.
What's up with that?
Yeah, what is up with that?
I don't know. But anyway. So, he has his own little, he has, like, a pretty good plot of land there in Colehurst. And across the street, there was this old fart who had a huge acreage. And so there was this whole big swathe of land that was undeveloped
Hmm.
throughout my childhood when I would go out there to the property. And eventually, the old guy kicked the bucket, and his kids sold it to a developer. And now, then they paved this huge road, and they put everything up for sale. And now, every time I go visit it, I go to visit my dad, there's more and more houses growing around his house. And it's like, I don't know. He is getting along with his neighbors,
Yeah.
but it's like, for me,
It's just a feeling that you're like fenced in more and more. And
yeah, it's like the walls are closing and it's like a trash compactor. It's like, I don't know. Like, I remember, like, this was my dad's was the only house on this big long stretch of road, and now there's all these people around, and it's like, when did this happen? Like, I don't like this. Go away.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. Like, I don't know. My dad used to, like, burn tires and stuff. Now he can't do that.
Colehurst. Anyways.
A bit like Pie Pot,
But
actually.
yeah, you can burn tires in Pie Pot, I'm sure. But yeah, it's true. I mean, like, and what do you do about that?
Nothing. You
Nothing.
can't do anything.
Like, here at least, if there's something that really bothers you that's happening, or something that you really want to see happen, you have to convince like 30 people to make it happen or not happen. And those 30 people are people that you probably see every day, that you go to meetings with at different boards or institutions, or you see them at the little store or the diner or at the bar or whatever. And like,
or you can just tell one person and tell them to tell everyone else.
it's true. Like, you don't need to do much. You just, if you have an idea and you can articulate it, you just say it to the right people and it will probably happen. And you can make things happen. That's pretty cool. And also, because it's so small, people do share values. And they don't just share values because they happen to be from here or they came here because of their values. They share values because they spend time together. Because they talk and they argue and they debate. And like, over time, a sort of a consensus builds and you get to be part of it. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, anyways, I had this feeling when I was in Medicine Hat that just like, it just seemed empty. Like, what am I doing with my life? One of the big things is I just didn't feel like I had a really big project to sink my teeth into. And I think that that's something that every man definitely needs, is they need like something to fight for, something to try to improve or restore or save. And you end up going into these different causes, and most of them just don't go anywhere, and they're kind of just a waste of your time and energy. Whereas out here, you can sink your teeth into something. If you want to see something happen, you can make it your goal, your mission, and you can actually see progress, real physical progress around you. And that's pretty cool. But yeah, I felt this lack of that, this lack of a mission, this lack of having my own dirt that I could do what I wanted with, and this lack of a community that I could really participate with.
Sorry, we just heard you admonish the cat.
Yeah. You're staying in, cat. That's true.
It's okay. Anyway, you were saying lack of a project. You were like aimless, wayward son, journey.
And it's not that I was aimless. I did, like, especially later, I did get involved in a lot of things, and I have some experience. But again, it's just like, you really don't get that much of a say. You can't accomplish that much as one guy, and you can't get everybody on the same page. It's really hard. So at a certain point, I just decided that I was what's going on back there?
She's picking up the pup.
Oh, the puppy's joining us. He's got his own tale that I'm sure he'll tell one day.
Yeah. He'd be a great podcast cat.
He would be.
Anyway.
So one day I was hanging out with a couple buddies that were from Maple Creek, Saskatchewan. They were army buddies of mine. And I didn't have a plan, but I just asked them, like, is there cheap land in Saskatchewan? How much is it? Where is it? How do I get it? And they told me Piapot, both at the same time. They're both just like Piapot. Like, Piapot, what's a Piapot? And they're like, we'll take you out there. So one day, and I'd never really even been in Saskatchewan. I mean, I think I went to Moose Jaw once when I was a kid with my grandparents, but I didn't think about Saskatchewan. Most people in Alberta don't all that much. So I got in.
Saskatchewan is the place with bad roads.
Yeah, it's a place with bad roads. It's where Corner Gas took place. That's all everybody knows.
Well, and then
it's very flat.
And then there's also the joke from my childhood. What's the best city in Saskatchewan?
It's Medicine Hat. Yes. So that's what you know about Saskatchewan. But I got in a truck with these guys, and they drove me out to Piapot to have a look. And they're like, you can buy a piece of land here from the town for $1,200. And there's like very few bylaws, and you can kind of do whatever you want. And the taxes are super low. And so I started thinking about it more and more. And I started saving a little bit of money, and I was kind of getting tired of my job. And not because it was a bad job, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted an adventure. I wanted to do something different. So then like COVID happened, and there was all the stuff with that, and it just seemed like a good time to do something new. So I bought 5 lots from the town, about an acre of land where Connor's now living. And I got this old bunkhouse moved onto the land with the help of some buddies, and I renovated it and made it into a little cabin. And I spent about a year there full time trying to get that going. And then I spent another year where I was there partly, and then was in Medicine Hat for part of it too in the winter. And I got to know some of my neighbors, and I had some fun adventures, and I learned a lot of stuff because I didn't know what I was doing at all. If I were to go back and redo everything I did in Piapot, it would be completely different. I was such an amateur at trying to do the off-grid thing, but it was fun, and I learned a lot, and I enjoyed it. And it eventually led me back to Medicine Hat, where I met Heather. And I still had the cabin, and I would still go out there on weekends and hang out with my buddies in Piapot. And I took Heather out there a couple times, and my parents had actually moved there as well. They bought a house, and it had a draw for me, and the draw was just that freedom. And it's not that I don't love things about the city, because I love Medicine Hat in a lot of ways too. And there's opportunities there, and there's people that we love, and we like to go there, but there is just something about having your own spot. And Heather and I had some roommate situations, both of us, and then an apartment that we had together. We're just like, being under the thumb of somebody else does get really old after a while. Peter Badonkadonk, our landlord in particular, was honestly, he was the last straw. It was like Peter Badonkadonk was like,
I'm sure that's not his real name, but that's his real name to me.
Yes,
that's
his real name to me now too. I don't even know what his name
I don't remember his real name. He's known to us as Peter Badonkadonk, the slumlord. And he was the last straw. It broke the camel's back, and it broke
probably that huge badonkadonk that he's got on
That's
him.
the whole deal. So we're like,
sure, any camel would buckle under that.
We have to buy a house. We have to do it. And so we started looking.
We can't deal anymore with the badonkadonks of the world.
I'll tell you my exit story with the badonkadonks as part of this narrative. Not just Peter, but his wife, who's worse. She's worse.
The whole clan.
Well, there was like, when we were in Costa Rica, we lied about having a cat.
Yeah, Heather and I went to Costa Rica for like 10 days, and we had Chappie, that cat that's in the background doing nonsense. And she was a kitten, and we had her at the apartment. And when Heather
She was gone, though. Like, we had her at your mom's or dad's or something.
So Heather had, when we got the lease, there was a section for pets. And we didn't have a pet at the time. A few months later, I gave Heather this kitten as a gift. And we had her in the apartment. And we contacted the landlord to ask do we put a deposit down? How do we do the pet thing? And all of a sudden, they're like, no pets. Like, okay. I thought that was in the lease. And they're like, it was in the beginning. It's not now. Okay.
That's not how leases work.
we didn't fill out the pet section, so now we're never allowed to have an animal.
Oh. Okay.
Essentially, halfway through the lease. So I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I just like throw this kitten in a dumpster? Is that what Peter Badonkadonk wants me to do? I mean, to be fair to him, he didn't actually know we had a cat, but we did. So we just raised this cat in secret, like we were in like mid-century Germany or something.
I was immediately thinking of a family in China with 2 kids.
Yeah, like
True.
2 children in China in the 1960s. That's what it was like. So we had this secret cat, and luckily our neighbors were all super cool and they would never rat on us. But then we're in Costa Rica and we dropped the cat off at my parents' place in Piapot, and it was all good. But Peter Badonkadonk decided that he had to fix the dishwasher, which wasn't broken, by the way. So he texted us in Costa Rica and said, I'm going into the apartment to fix the dishwasher. And we're like, we'd rather you not until we're home. And he's like, you don't have a choice. I'm going in.
I'm the landlord.
I'm the landlord. I'm Peter Badonkadonk.
I've given you
That's what he
24
said.
hours notice.
Mhm.
That was the text. He says, I'm the landlord, I'm Peter Badonkadonk, I go where I please.
He goes where he pleases. So Peter Badonkadonk came into
Clear
the
the
apartment.
way.
And clearly there's a litter box. And so he texts Heather while we're on vacation, do you have a cat?
He said that there's a litter box here. Do you have a cat?
And Heather said no.
It's for me.
Heather,
I didn't say anything. I just said no.
no. So she just told him no. So why is there a litter box? It's a real question. So, I mean, we like, if he was going to make an issue of it, I was going to tell him it was my litter box, and I'm just into weird stuff. But it was all very stressful, is what I'm trying to say. So don't get distracted. Anyways, so that also contributed to it, but at the end, it was real bad with Peter Badonkadonk. He just overstepped a lot, and we were done with it. And we were actually paying quite a bit of rent too to be in this like shoebox, this terrible apartment in a terrible building, with like drunk
People passed out in the lobby.
drunk people passed out in the lobby, human shit in the elevator. Like, just it wasn't good. It wasn't
And there
good.
was that guy that, I don't know how to describe him, but the gentleman in the robe with the ladies.
Yes, there's gentlemen in robes with ladies.
Pimp.
It was uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bad. Anyways, so it was time for us to go. And the job opportunities weren't amazing in Medicine Hat, especially for me. It was really hard to find any kind of work there for a little while. So we started looking, and as Heather was telling in her story, and Connor, we started looking in Piapot. It didn't work out. We didn't buy the house full of milk jugs. Corey, the proprietor of the Lucky Loon Saloon, the best bar in town, he turned us on to some folks that had some houses, and
I just need to clarify something for the watchers, listeners.
yes.
The best bar in town. He said that as if there are more than one.
That's the joke.
Well,
no, it's actually not the joke. There is more than one.
There is more than one bar in town.
There's multiple.
There are several bars in town. Not all of them are on Google,
but not official.
but Corey's is the best, and we support it.
Corey's is Corey's, the only legal bar in town.
That's
That's correct.
That's
Yeah.
correct. That is accurate. So, anyways,
The
Corey.
best legal bar in town.
That's true. It is
That's
the
correct.
well, it's the only legal bar in town. Anyways,
That's the
so
joke.
Corey turned us on to this house, and it worked out amazingly. There were some bumps in the road, but we got the house. We got moved out here. Heather found some work. For a while, she was working remote and then driving to Medicine Hat like 2 or 3 times a week. So that was tough. I got some work after a little while too, and yeah, we got dug in and
Got
eventually.
threatened.
He got a job working for the town, and this is part of living in the frontier. He got a job working for the town. It was great when it was summer, lawn mowing, and he was able to figure out the things with the water plant, doing all the treatments and things like that.
I got to go
Guy's-
in the water plant.
That's a smart guy.
I loved working for
But-
the water plant.
Winter came, and he doesn't know how to drive a tractor.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't know how to fix a tractor.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And in these parts, it's an expectation that everyone knows. Like, what kind of idiot can drive a tractor?
I'm an idiot. I don't know how to drive a tractor. It's true.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing.
Just an expectation, just like it's an expectation for me to know how to make bread,
Mhm.
Yeah.
or for me to know like how to plant a garden. It's like But as like a person that's always like just worked city jobs,
It's true. I didn't
he
have.
can't drive a tractor, and I'm just learning how to.
I didn't grow up with
Can
tractors,
beats.
unfortunately. So
Mm-hmm.
I now know a little bit how to drive a tractor, poorly. But my poor tractor performance was sort of the final nail in the coffin with my town foreman position.
It was actually hilarious. I wish you had been there because I would see him driving by the store and he'd be like just bumping along in this tractor.
Yes,
It's like thrashing.
I wasn't amazing with the tractor. There were criticisms from the town folk. And honestly, I deserved to lose that job. It all worked out for the best. They were right to get rid of me. The new town man is much better at tractor.
I think the worst threat, though, came from your old landlord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor's old roommate. This isn't PG, so cover your children's ears.
I'm sure there's plenty of children listening to the Out on the Trail podcast.
If you're a children and you're listening to this, cover your ears. Okay? This man pulled his truck in front of my tractor one day, and he stopped me, and he told me if I leave snow in front of his driveway again, which I couldn't figure out the blade on the back, and like sometimes it would put snow where I didn't want it, and I had a whole town to do, and sometimes things didn't work perfectly. So I did leave a little
In
trail.
your defense as well, that man has like 4 driveways.
That's true.
He does have many driveways, and he does have a 4-wheel drive truck. But I did leave a little trail of snow in front of his driveway, so it was a fair criticism. And I didn't know the man that well at the time. Now we're close associates, but he did tell me that if I ever do that again, he's going to cut my nutsack off with a rusty can lid.
That's oddly specific.
He told me that in the streets, so that made me nervous. And we did have the store at that time. It was the first couple of months, and people like this gentleman and others would come into the store and tell Heather how terrible I was at plowing snow, and yes, threatened to cut my nutsack off and such things. So
Yeah.
Heather was very stressed running a store while people were coming in and being like, "Your husband."
Or not coming in. There were people that wouldn't come to the
Were
store
boycotting
because
us.
I sucked at his job.
Because I sucked at moving snow. So, anyways,
I would do the same, to be honest.
I got removed from that position, and ran the store full time with Heather for a summer, and then now I'm working for the school.
But you're coming
division.
back for the summer.
I am
because
coming back.
Schoolwork is seasonal, which is great.
Which is amazing. I
Yeah.
love my job now. I couldn't be more happy with how that worked out.
Which means we've got to start really brainstorming what the summer is going to look like.
Oh,
for
we
the
have
initiative and the trading post and
we have so
the
many
events,
awesome
what
things we want to do.
and
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for it to
we
be summer.
actually, I don't even know if Connor knows this. Kai and I discussed that we might bring back Wormwood.
That's true.
We have a special
More
guest
content.
that we've been
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
well,
content.
actually, Scotty Reeser messaged us the other day and asked us if we wanted a fridge, and I mean, we'll always take a fridge. And
course,
the gentleman he suggested deliver the fridge,
Would make a great Wormwood
yeah,
guest.
is actually a friend of ours that we haven't talked to in quite some time, but very interesting character. So that might be, we might revive Wormwood.
We'll see,
So that may be more content for the Out on the Trail channel.
quite possibly. But yeah, the summer's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have so much fun. I'm so happy that Connor's here this summer.
We do have to
full-time.
really think about some of the bigger events. So
Oh yeah.
we gotta start brainstorming.
Yeah, we got lots to do. But anyways, back to my little story there. We ended up out here. We had the store, and like both of these guys attested to, it all just worked out. There were times when it was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. How's this going to work?
Mhm.
Even buying the business, frankly. Like when Heather pitched it to me, because she was told first that it was for sale, and I was like, I don't think we have the money to do that. I don't think that's realistic at all. And then they told us the price, and I was like, we have like just enough, and we could maybe, like, if we're really creative and we work really hard, maybe we could survive the first year. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. But Heather really wanted to do it, and I was like,
I don't know why.
her enthusiasm was infectious. And I was like, all right, let's give it a go. And let's give it a real go. And I think we have.
Yep.
And I'm pretty happy with how things have gone. I mean, there are many challenges. The financial aspects are so stressful sometimes. but we find solutions to them, and big picture we're finding solutions, and I think the store's going to survive and it's going to grow.
It was a crazy first year.
It was a super intense first year,
And then in September we got Texas Wigmire.
and then Texas Wigmire joined the team.
But
Yeah.
he needs.
He has his own podcast.
He has his own
It's-
podcast.
Yeah.
But no, and I mean, if you want to hear more about the
Texas Wigmire.
not about Texas Wigmire, about the first year of the Frontier Trading Post, go back and listen to my interview at the 1 year anniversary. It's on.
Did we put that on YouTube?
I don't know if we did.
We should put that on YouTube probably.
We may upload that after
I
this.
don't remember that one.
We were really tired. We did it like 1 a.m. on a work night.
Yeah.
Was I there?
Yeah.
Yes, you were.
Connor interviewed the both of us on the 1 year anniversary.
Oh, I
Vaguely remember.
I remember it quite
It was
well.
a good interview.
Texas Wigmire was there.
Texas
Yes, he was.
Wigmire was
And
in that one.
wasn't? No, just Tex was.
Yeah.
Do you? Because I used clips from the sizzle reel. And
Did I have my fur coat on?
Yeah, you did.
yes, you did.
You totally did.
Because you were freezing because we had the heat off.
It was
Right.
cold. It was cold and it was at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, you can go watch that one if we ever get around to
That would have been
uploading it.
January 22nd.
On the 1 year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this next year is going to be even better. But like I say, I'm excited. Like Connor's here full time this summer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm off this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also not completely broke like we were the first summer we were running the store. We're still pretty broke.
Well, I
Mostly
was gonna say,
broke.
wow.
Like we're mostly broke, but we're not like.
Not completely broke.
But like I don't have to like mow lawns for gas money like those good old days. I will mow lawns, but it'll be for like beer money or something.
So
it'll be a little better.
All these things and more are what you can look forward to if you ever move to Saskatchewan.
That's true.
Mowing lawns for beer money. That's the real savings that you
That is
get.
the real savings. There's so many opportunities to make beer money.
Well, I mean,
I don't even drink beer, so it just adds up over time. If I ever decide to drink a whole bunch of beer, I'm good. I drink like a beer every 6 months.
that's not really true. But
That's an
anyways,
exaggeration.
it's not always beer money, as Connor can attest to. He did some yard work today for a haircut.
That's true. I did
Hey,
yard
focus
work
on
today for a haircut. You can't really see it anymore, but
Yeah.
It's a good
my hair
haircut.
was all scraggly. We have this beautiful, awesome hairdresser in town, and
She only really seems to want to do your hair, though.
She's
I've asked her multiple times.
She's your personal hairdresser.
Yeah.
She doesn't
okay,
cut
sorry,
anybody
she's my
else's hair.
personal hairdresser.
She has an actual real hairdresser. She just really likes Connor's hair.
Yeah, she really likes my hair, and also, she always makes such like lengthy comments about my hair every single. She's like, "Oh, your hair, it's so thick, and how does it grow so fast?" And it's like, "Oh my gosh."
You do have impressive hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then she always gets me to do, you know what? Yeah, there's another factor. Kids, cover your ears. I always take my shirt off every time.
Why are you disclosing that now?
Yeah.
Well, cause
Okay.
so I don't get hair in my clothes.
Right.
So I don't know if that plays into it at all.
You're saying that might be a factor. I don't know. I think you're a little young.
But isn't that the
Fine,
appeal?
maybe you should just whip your shirt off.
Maybe that's true. Maybe I
Take
could
your
get a
shirt
haircut
off.
if I take my shirt off.
Hair jam.
I'm ready. I'm ready for a haircut.
Okay.
I don't think that's how she works. But, you know,
I don't know. That's pretty much what I do. I just show up there without a shirt on. And,
Connor has.
God, you could try.
I could try. Connor has a very high opinion of his physique. So,
oh, shut up.
anyways, and we're trying to arrange for you to potentially mow another lawn in exchange for some meals. So
Yeah.
that's
So
true.
From the local catering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get your extras here if you work.
no, and that's like. I think it's very important to, be that kind of visible and reliable presence in the community in that way. I mean, the person of the year, the person who won person of the year for 2025, that's like his biggest contribution to the town.
Larry Person.
Larry Person,
Who
the
won person of the year.
Larry Person, the person who won person of the year in 2025.
Yeah, it's a really personal story.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's probably gonna go win again.
Probably will
unless
win
you up
again.
your game.
You guys
Yeah.
gotta up your ante.
He personally won Person of the Year. Specifically, I would imagine,
It's a
because
landslide.
yeah, in a landslide.
Because he's personable.
Well, because he's personable, and well, every person voted Larry Person of the Year.
Yes. Personally, they voted.
Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so just
But it's because he mows lawns.
he does mow lawns.
He does a lot of things.
He does do.
It's mostly mowing lawns. That's
Well,
what. That's
and
what.
delivery. He goes and sources food and delivers it to like the whole town.
Nobody mentioned that though.
And he dog sits.
Oh, he dog sits.
Yeah.
Which I probably
We
mentioned.
nominated him for dog sitting.
It's
Okay.
true.
He's a great dog sitter.
Yes,
I
he loves
trust
the
him.
dog.
I trust him with
Except-
my dog.
Well, I don't know. That pocket meat.
He
I
did.
can't trust him to not feed the dog pocket meat.
He did feed Tex some pocket meat. Tex was a little sick for a couple of days. He had some poops in places he's not supposed to.
Poor Texas Food Farm.
But yeah, I think this summer ahead is going to be awesome. I think we're all way more free to do stuff this summer than we were last summer.
Mm-hmm.
Last summer was kind of exhausting, and we were working with so many limitations. I think this year we're going to do some really cool stuff.
We didn't have Tex.
And we didn't have Tex. That's actually the key factor of why it'll be a better summer. And Connor, of course. Which was, yeah.
Mostly
Anyways,
cats.
We had the T-shirt guy.
that's true. And he may make a reappearance. You never know.
That's true.
People
When he
make.
gets his EI money, or what is it? Disability.
I don't know.
Listen, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't.
He may
$9
be back,
million.
or he may not be on this season. We don't know.
People come and they go, and they reappear in the show and the season.
And that's
then
one
they leave.
thing with the Frontier. You have to be really good at letting people go and like realizing when their chapter is over.
Mm-hmm.
Frontier, like
It's true.
um,
Not everybody's a reoccurring character, but some
we
people are.
had the guy that was living in the cabin
Mm-hmm.
before you,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hey, he may reappear too. You
we
never
just
know.
had to accept that living off grid in the Frontier was probably not for him. And then when Scotty Reeser left, I was kind of sad. I was really sad
Devastated.
when he just like gave us
Devastated.
the key because I knew it was over. And I said, "When will you be back?" And he just kind of shrugged. And he's like, "It's time to drift, Scotty." And we didn't see him for like 4 or 5 months after that.
Well, and I think
But everybody does reappear eventually.
They
it seems.
reappear, but it's not in the same way because
It's
like
true.
Scotty was like
A
he was
key-
here day in and day out, and I used to get like really. He used to do things like cut the bag off the coffee, and
He used to drive you crazy.
he did.
Crazy. And we miss him so much.
Yeah, we do.
But
Now
the-
he's
the-
in a better place.
He's alive.
In
He's alive. Scotty Reeser's alive.
he's in the best city in
He was-
Saskatchewan.
Actually, he was in Tennessee the last
He's
time.
at an undisclosed location.
Okay.
Stop disclosing Scotty's location. He hates that.
Okay.
He hates that.
That's where he was. I don't know where he is currently.
He's in an undisclosed location.
He's in his compound in Pakistan.
He's in Pakistan. He could
Possible.
be.
He could be. It wouldn't shock me.
Well, see, what happened was he's in his compound in Pakistan because he used Susie's tallow and orchestrated with Al Qaeda.
No, stop. Cut.
No,
Anyways,
well, I wanted to actually make a serious comment about what you just said. I think the name of this podcast lends some insight into having to let people go, because we are out on the trail,
hmm
and you know,
and we hope you'll join us.
yeah. But whenever you are out on the trail, like the people passing by, everyone is on their own journey.
hmm
And this is just a stop. And for some people, that stop may be permanent. For some people, it's just a stop. And
Or
they're on
they
their
may
way to...
just stop up the road and they may come back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive 15
They-
minutes every day.
They might stay here until they're up in Boot Hill.
Yeah.
You never know.
You
Or
never
they
know.
might be like Shelley and get rejected on the land.
It's true. But you know, if you're watching this, just like message us or text us if you want to like be on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
or you want to just come visit.
Mm-hmm.
And especially this summer, we'll have more time. We will make time for you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll show you around. It'll be fun.
You too can join the Tompkins cult and be an indentured servant.
Yeah, you could. That's true.
You could.
Or you could just be out on the trail and be on the podcast. That's an option.
That's
too.
also true.
You don't have to be an indentured servant.
It's not
We have
required.
We have other relationships.
Again, take the Cheez-It option.
But
Okay.
I will say, just to wrap up my story, I think I very briefly explained how we got here. But both of these guys, I think, kind of ended with where they are now and what their mission is. Where Heather sees community going, where Connor sees kind of opportunities and what he wants to build. And I think for me, I very firmly think that the most profound thing that I've found here with these guys and with the rest of the community is this ability to build. And that I get so much joy from that. Even the last couple days, just putting the garden in and growing food and building a fence and doing renos at the store and like Cactus Alley, like these little projects, just building things and doing the village cleanup and participating with some of the village things. Like, to me, just the ability to build in real life and see my work, whatever that might be, whether it's the store or whether it's my yard or whether it's the town as a whole, that is the most profound thing for me here. And I think that's what will keep me here and will drive me forward more than anything, is just the ability to see my work come to life. And that's an awesome feeling to have. And I think it can look different for everybody. We all have our areas, our vocations, but for me, yeah, that's the best thing. And I cannot wait till this summer when I have more time and more resources to do that. There's so many things I want to build.
I like that kind of framing. Opportunity, community, building. You know,
Yeah.
everybody, has their calling
Yeah.
and what kind of defines them. And, you know, I think this region allows you to find that.
It certainly can if you're open to it. You know?
Well, thank you for joining us this evening at the campfire, just shooting our stories and telling tales, spinning yarns, out on the trail here on a nice summer evening in Tompkins, Saskatchewan. We hope you have a good night.
Oh, and
And-
if you're local, this Sunday is the town garage sale, which means you gentlemen need to sell some garbage.
We're gonna sell some garbage.
I'm gonna
full
put
circle.
the biggest pile of garbage you've ever seen out on the street in front of my store.
Yes.
Piles of garbage.
It's
We'll
time
fi-
to let it go.
It's time to let it go.
We'll make sure to film the garbage. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I'm not selling any garbage because I'm unwed. But if there's any
That's true.
if there's any single ladies watching the podcast,
He might be
Would
willing.
like some garbage.
He might be
you
willing
want
to
me
sell
you
some
want me
garbage.
to sell some garbage. Okay. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll
See
see
you.
you on the next episode.
See you at the garbage sale.